wait a minute, did we just witness the wildest moment in love and hip-hop Atlanta history? Because what just went down was nothing short of explosive. So intense it could leave even the most loyal reality TV fans speechless. This was not just drama. This was the drama everyone knew was coming but never thought would hit this hard. Rasheeda and Yandy, yes, the same two women who were once inseparable, the kind of besties who lit up red carpets and moved through the industry like a power duo, are now locked in a full-blown feud. Unbelievable, right? From soul sisters to sworn rivals, the shift was as dramatic as it gets. It all came crashing down at one dinner. What was supposed to be a calm sit-down turned into a war zone. And when these two finally clashed, it was like years of tension spilled out all at once. Was this just a minor miscommunication that spiraled out of control? Or had this fallout been quietly brewing beneath the surface all along? Backstabbing, hidden truths, a confrontation no one saw coming. Now, fans are left piecing together the fallout, asking one big question: how did it come to this? Things went from tense to downright explosive. These queens were ready to throw down. But here's where it gets even crazier. Insiders say this was not just your average shouting match. Nope, there is talk of leaked footage, hidden messages, and secret texts that paint a whole new picture of what really happened behind the scenes. This was more than a fight. It was a full-on unraveling of a bond that once seemed unbreakable. The real question now, is this feud the final blow to their friendship, or is there still a flicker of hope left for a comeback? And just a heads up, if you think you know how this story ends, think again. There is a twist coming that no one saw coming. So buckle up, because this storm is just getting started. But before we dive headfirst into the heart of the chaos, let's rewind and take a closer look at what led us to this jaw-dropping moment. Let's rewind for a moment, because if you want to understand how things got this messy, you have to go back to where it all began. Rasheeda and Yandy's bond was once unshakable. They were the kind of best friends that made you believe in sisterhood. Two powerhouse women moving through fame side by side, as tight as peanut butter and jelly. Their friendship was more than just TV magic. It felt real. Together, they ruled love and hip-hop Atlanta. From red carpets to Instagram selfies, they were always in sync. Radiant, unstoppable, and dripping in glam. Fans adored them, looked up to them, and crowned them the queens of the show without hesitation. But every story has its shadows. Slowly, the perfect picture began to blur. The smiles stayed bright, but the vibe, something was off. There were little signs. Side-eye glances, awkward pauses in interviews, comments that felt just a little too sharp. At first, it was easy to ignore. But in hindsight, the cracks were there all along, just waiting to split wide open. And then, out of nowhere, everything fell apart. Like the universe decided it was time for the truth to come crashing through the surface. Suddenly, what seemed like a rock-solid friendship turned into a battlefield, and the betrayal hit harder than anyone expected. So how exactly did things spiral from loyal sisterhood to full-blown chaos that had everyone glued to their screens? Well, it all came down to one moment at the heart of it all: power, ego, and a hunger for the spotlight that just could not be ignored. Sure, reality TV feeds off drama like fire feeds off oxygen. The messier, the juicier, the more viewers tune in. But this was different. This was not a scripted catfight or a made-for-TV spat. This was raw. This was real. This was personal. Rasheeda and Yandy had been through the trenches together. Career struggles, public fallouts with other celebs, and enough emotional highs and lows to fill a whole season on their own. But somewhere along the line, the loyalty started to fade and the vibe began to shift. Was it Rasheeda feeling pushed to the sidelines as Yandy's fame climbed higher? Or was Yandy done playing backup to Rasheeda's legacy? Truth is, every friendship has its unspoken hierarchy. And when someone starts feeling like they are stuck in the shadows, resentment can creep in like a slow burn. And then the plotting starts. Little frustrations build. Silent comparisons turn into quiet bitterness. And behind the scenes, the lines of loyalty begin to blur. Rumors began to bubble up. Whispers that Yandy had been seen hanging out with people Rasheeda would never approve of. The same kind of crowd that could stir trouble. At the same time, Rasheeda's usual composed energy began to shift. Her fans noticed. Her tone changed. Her posts felt different. Something was clearly brewing. And just like that, the foundation of their friendship began to shake. Something just did not feel right. And when it comes to the entertainment industry, let's be real. Loyalty often takes a back seat when money and fame are in the driver's seat. Alliances shift like the wind. And friendships? They can become casualties in the pursuit of power. Was Yandy's ambition starting to eclipse the friendship they had built? Or was Rasheeda, a woman who had already carved out her own empire, simply unwilling to share her throne? Then came the moment that flipped everything upside down. The secret plot. Yes, you heard that correctly. Several insiders, who prefer to remain nameless but are said to be close to the situation, claim that Yandy might have been moving behind the scenes in ways Rasheeda never saw coming. Whether it was a full-on betrayal or just a huge misunderstanding, the damage was done. And Rasheeda, she was not about to let it slide. Word on the street is that Yandy's behind-the-scenes maneuvers may have interfered with Rasheeda's career moves, crossing a line that goes way beyond petty drama. Because if there is one thing Rasheeda protects with everything she has, it is her hustle, her brand, her legacy. And to her, it felt like Yandy had stepped all over that. What followed were whispers, leaks, and a growing storm that was about to break wide open. Sources claim that Yandy was spotted in conversation with people who were not just throwing shade, but allegedly trash-talking Rasheeda's business moves. Now we cannot confirm the truth behind these whispers, but honestly, the mere possibility was enough enough to make people start talking. And what really sent everything into overdrive? The fans. See, when there is no hard proof, people love to play detective. They dig, connect dots that may not even be there, and before you know it, boom, the internet was in flames. Social media exploded with theories. Was Yandy trying to undermine Rasheeda's brand? Was she slowly setting up a takeover behind her? Friends back? Or was it all just one big misunderstanding blown out of proportion? Whatever the truth was, one thing became crystal clear. Trust had been broken. And once that crack appears, there is no going back to what once was. The damage had been done, and the friendship, it would never look the same again. And if you thought that was the climax, think again. Because the real storm was still on its way. Let's jump to the night everything came to a head. The showdown. The night that would be burned into the memory of every love and hip-hop Atlanta fan forever. It all went down at a cast dinner, but this was not one of those chill sit-downs with wine and polite smiles. Oh no, this was the kind of dinner where every word felt like a grenade, where the tension in the room could be cut with a knife, and that is when the real drama erupted. Rasheeda versus Yandy. The moment had arrived, and you could feel the tension humming in the air like static before a lightning strike. As the cast sat around the table, what started off as a routine dinner quickly morphed into a battleground. The fake smiles faded, the small talk died down, and then Rasheeda let it all out. She leaned forward, her voice cutting through the room like a blade. "How long have you been working behind my back?" she asked, allegedly, but her tone left no room for doubt. Her words were calm at first, but there was fire behind them. The kind of fire that had been burning for a while. You could see it in her eyes. She was done. Producers of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, you can bet they were smiling from ear to ear. This wasn't some scripted drama or a mere plot twist. No, this was reality TV gold. Raw, unscripted chaos that everyone craved. Every headline, every tweet, every viral post only added fuel to the fire, and the whole world was glued to their screens. But here's the million-dollar question. Could Rasheeda and Yandy ever rebuild the shattered remains of their friendship? Or had that ship sailed for good? Was the bond that once seemed unbreakable now beyond repair? And if you thought the drama stopped at that jaw-dropping dinner brawl, oh honey, you're in for a ride. The real storm was just beginning. What followed? A media frenzy unlike anything the show had ever seen. The fight didn't just stay in the confines of the dinner table. It spilled over into every corner of the internet, igniting a firestorm of opinions, theories, and speculations from fans, celebrities, and tabloids alike. People didn't just want to know what happened. They wanted to know who was really to blame for the fallout. Rasheeda's supporters claimed Yandy had been plotting behind her back from the start, while Yandy's fans swore she had been pushed to the edge and had every right to defend herself. The question on everyone's mind, who started the drama and who would come out on top? And as for the women themselves, both were silent at first, retreating from the public eye to process what had just happened. But you know reality TV, it's never quiet for long. The world waited eagerly, hanging on every word. What was next for the two former queens of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta? Could they salvage their careers? Or was this fight the final chapter in their complicated history? Rasheeda's drink slammed onto the table with a force that made the entire room freeze. And in that same instant, Yandy's wig was knocked askew, an image that would go down in Love and Hip Hop Atlanta history. The aftermath? A frenzy. No one could stop talking about what had just unfolded. The drama was so intense, so shocking, that even the tabloids couldn't get enough. For days, the headlines were buzzing, dissecting every single detail. Speculation ran wild, from hidden messages in Rasheeda's and Yandy's social media posts to rumors about what really happened in those crucial moments leading up to the brawl. Industry insiders, so-called sources, and even fans tried to piece together the puzzle, each coming up with their own version of the story. But the real drama came from the public reactions. And trust me, those were priceless. Fans were absolutely split. Some were devastated. They couldn't believe that two powerful, iconic women, who had fought side by side through thick and thin, would let it all go up in flames over something that seemed so petty. "We can't believe Rasheeda would do this. She's always been the one to hold things down, to stay the mature one," they cried. The heartbreak was real, but it didn't stop there. Oh no, the fans didn't just talk about it on Twitter. They took to every platform imaginable, dissecting every move, every word, and every photo. Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, name it, and they were there. The debate was everywhere, and if you thought it was just the fans making noise, you were wrong. Celebrities started to chime in, and when they do, things only get messier. Some openly took sides, throwing gasoline on the fire, while others stayed silent, perhaps hoping the storm would pass. But we all know that when the stars get involved, the drama is just getting started. And from there, the situation exploded even further. When the drama erupted, the floodgates of public opinion swung wide open. K. Michelle, no stranger to stirring the pot, sent out a cryptic tweet about loyalty and betrayal, leaving everyone wondering if she was weighing in on the Rasheeda-Yandy feud. Then, Tamar Braxton, always vocal and never one to hold back, dropped a tweet that seemed almost too perfect in its timing. Sometimes you have to cut ties with people who don't have your best interests at heart. Was she talking about Rasheeda and Yandy? No one could say for sure, but the coincidence was hard to ignore. It was like the celebrity world was watching, waiting for the dust to settle before offering their own commentary on the situation. But the real question on everyone's mind was how this explosive feud would impact the careers of both women. This wasn't just another reality TV argument, it was career-defining. In the cutthroat world of reality TV, these kinds of moments can either propel you to superstardom or send you spiraling into obscurity. And And with both Rasheeda and Yandy at the center of the drama, the fallout could mean very different things for their futures. For Rasheeda, things were complicated. Sure, she had always been the fan favorite, the business mogul, the queen of Atlanta's reality TV scene. But after the fight, some of her longtime supporters were questioning her actions. Was this a one-off moment of frustration, or had there been deeper, long-buried resentment that led to this public eruption? Fans who once adored her were now torn. If she lost their support, it could have serious consequences. After all, in night, reality TV, loyalty is everything. But let's not forget, Rasheeda had built a business empire on her resilience. She knew how to bounce back from anything. But this time, it was personal. And the world was watching to see if she could repair the damage or if this feud would tarnish her image for good. Chaos of that dinner brawl might have seemed like the peak of the drama, but trust me when I say this was just the beginning. The ripple effects from that night were far from over. In fact, they were only starting to gain momentum. And for those who thought it would all blow over, well, they were about to be proven wrong. The long-term fallout from this explosive fight would hit harder and last longer than anyone could have imagined. But let's be real, this situation is far from your typical reality TV drama. This isn't one of those moments that will fade into the background with time. No, this is the kind of altercation that has long-lasting repercussions, rippling through both Rasheeda's and Yandy's careers, relationships, and future prospects. So, what comes next? Let's take a deeper dive into the stormy waters of their careers and the explosive consequences that are about to unfold in the wake of this now infamous brawl. First, let's talk about the damage to both women's reputations. For many fans and industry insiders, the trust they had in Rasheeda and Yandy has been permanently shaken. The hashtag dollar loyalty eyes everything dominated social media for weeks after the fight. But here's the thing, it wasn't just about loyalty between the two of them. It was about loyalty to their fans and the show that made them stars. Rasheeda, once an unstoppable business mogul and a fan favorite, was now facing the ugly side of fame, the public scrutiny of her actions. At first, fans rushed to her defense, claiming she was simply standing up for herself in the face of betrayal. But as more details of her relationship with Yandy came to light, the tide of support began to wane. People started questioning whether Rasheeda had acted too hastily. Could she have handled the situation with more maturity? Was she too quick to lash out? These were questions that began to emerge, and they weren't easy to ignore. The once rock-solid foundation of Rasheeda's brand now seemed cracked, and the path forward was looking uncertain. Every twist and turn, the damage from that initial fight can't be erased. Rasheeda's image was built on the foundation of being the mature, level-headed star who balanced family, business, and fame with grace. But now, this new side of her, one that's filled with anger and frustration, is far from the polished persona she once carried. It's a hard pill to swallow for fans who admired her for her poised, collected demeanor. No amount of damage control can completely undo that pivotal moment, and the lasting effects are now embedded in her public image. Now let's shift gears to Yandy's downfall, because oh, did things take a turn for her. Yandy went from being the golden girl of love and hip-hop Atlanta to the villain of this drama almost overnight. After the fight, the backlash was swift, and fans turned on her in full force. Social media was flooded with comments like, "I never trusted her, and now I see why." What were once whispers of shady behavior quickly turned into hard truths in the eyes of many fans. The perception of her completely flipped. But here's the kicker. Yandy's no stranger to public controversy. This isn't her first rodeo, and she's faced this kind of heat before. Each time she's found a way to come back stronger. So, is this another setback she can bounce back from? Absolutely. Yandy knows how to work the media and manage her image, and with enough effort, she could claw her way back to redemption. But the real question is, can she convince her fans that she isn't the backstabber people now see her as? That's the million-dollar question, and the stakes have never been higher. The real battle for Yandy lies not in the spotlight, but in rebuilding the trust that's been shattered among her most loyal followers. The consequences for Yandy's career could be even more severe. She may not have the vast empire that Rasheeda has built, but she has worked hard to establish herself as more than just a reality TV star. Yandy has carved out a reputation as a manager, philanthropist, and influencer, but with this betrayal narrative now attached to her name, it could make it harder for her to continue to leverage her brand effectively. Losing fans' trust in the reality TV world is one thing, but when it bleeds over into business, that's when things get truly complicated. For Yandy, the damage to her personal brand may mean fewer business opportunities and a significant decline in her influence. People may start second-guessing her loyalty and professionalism, making it difficult for her to secure the same partnerships or endorsements she once enjoyed. On the other hand, Rasheeda's business empire faces a different set of risks. Her image as a strong, reliable businesswoman has been one of the cornerstones of her success. With the public questioning her judgment and character, it might be harder to maintain that reputation. Will her loyal customer base still trust her after such a public fallout? Can she maintain her brand identity as the savvy, sophisticated entrepreneur she once was? These are the questions that may determine her future success, or failure, on the business front. Both women will need to carefully navigate the aftermath, but for Rasheeda, it's a question of whether she can salvage her business interests and rebuild her reputation as a mogul. And for Yandy, it's about trying to regain the trust of fans and potential partners who may have started to see her as untrustworthy. Are through the roof, and viewers are hooked, waiting to see how the situation unfolds. However, on the other hand, the backlash from the fight and the fallout could affect the show's reputation. The last thing love Love and Hip Hop Atlanta wants is to be seen as promoting toxic behavior or glamorizing physical confrontations. The question is whether the producers will lean into this drama and make it the focal point of future seasons, or if they will try to distance themselves from the negative publicity and focus on more positive storylines. The show thrives on drama, but there's a fine line between what the audience finds entertaining and what crosses the line into exploitation. It's also worth considering the long-term impact on the show's core audience. Reality TV thrives on tension, but if the spectacle becomes too dark or personal, the audience may start to tune out. And what about Rasheeda and Yandy's future on the show? After this major fallout, will either of them be able to stay on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta long-term? If Rasheeda's brand suffers, could she step away from the show to focus on her businesses and family? And for Yandy, will the producers and fans forgive her for the fallout and allow her to reclaim her position on the show? Or is this a permanent mark on her legacy? The future of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has never been more uncertain. There's a lot at stake for everyone involved, from the cast members to the producers to the loyal fans who have invested in these relationships over the years. It's a turning point for the franchise, and how they handle this fallout will have serious implications for the show's direction moving forward. Will they be able to rise above the drama and rebuild, or is this the beginning of the end for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta as we know it? Only time will tell. Well, the drama is far from over. As the fallout from the fight between Rasheeda and Yandy continues to reverberate throughout the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta universe, it's clear that the public is absolutely hooked. Social media is still on fire, and fans are glued to every new post, tweet, or leak, eager for more gossip. With every passing day, it seems like there's a new twist or turn that adds fuel to the fire. Could there be more betrayals coming to light? Maybe. In the world of reality TV, where everyone has something to hide, it's only a matter of time before more skeletons are exposed. And trust me, the drama isn't limited to just Yandy and Rasheeda anymore. Fans are starting to speculate about who else in the cast might be caught up in the scandal, who could be stirring the pot behind the scenes, and who's next in line to make a dramatic exit or dramatic entrance into this soap opera. Could someone else from the cast spill even more tea? It's not out of the realm of possibility. And will Rasheeda and Yandy eventually make up? The chances seem slim, but let's face it, this is reality TV, where reconciliation is always a possibility, especially if the paycheck is right. If the producers want to keep the drama alive, they might encourage a public reunion or even a showdown for the next season, something to give fans a will they won't they moment. But let's be real, even if they did reconcile, the trust would never fully be restored. The damage done is too deep. But here's the thing, no matter what happens next, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta will never be the same. The dynamic that Rasheeda and Yandy brought to the show was undeniable. They were the power duo, the heart of the drama, the ones fans love to watch. Now that it's all crumbled, can the show find new chemistry? Can they replicate the energy they brought? It's a tough act to follow, but if anyone can do it, the producers certainly know how to stir up drama. As for the fans, they're not going anywhere. They live for this chaos, for the backstabbing and the plot twists. They'll continue watching, waiting for the next juicy reveal, the next shocking betrayal, the next episode full of drama. But the question is, can Love and Hip Hop Atlanta continue to deliver? With Rasheeda and Yandy's relationship in tatters, it's going to take a lot to keep the audience invested. The producers have their work cut out for them, but if they play their cards right, this scandal could carry the show to new heights, or it could signal the beginning of the end. And with that, the story continues to unfold, leaving everyone on the edge of their seats. Will Rasheeda and Yandy ever rebuild their shattered friendship, or is this the final nail in the coffin? The fallout from their explosive fight is far from over, and the drama is only going to get wilder from here. This might just be another Love and Hip Hop spectacle, but trust me, this feels different. This one could have real, lasting consequences for both women and the entire Love and Hip Hop Atlanta franchise. So, what do you think? Will these two ever make amends, or has the damage been done? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because we want to know where you stand on this whole mess. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the drama, gossip, and scandals that are unfolding in real time. Trust me, we're covering it all. Until next time, keep watching, stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't miss out on the next jaw-dropping story that'll keep you hooked.